Hello people, welcome to the channel Free Management Education. Today we will discuss about industrial disputes and its settlements, and this is the second part of the series. And here we will discuss about adjudication, concentrating machinery, grievance procedure and red hot stove rule. Okay. So what is grievance procedure? What is a grievance? It is understood as the employee's dissatisfaction or feeling of personal injustice. Okay, personal injustice relating to his or her employment relationship. Okay, so it is the employee's dissatisfaction regarding his relationship in the employment place. Okay, so other conditions which also may give rise to grievance are violation of law, violation of the intent of the parties as stipulated during contract negotiations, violation of company rules, change in working conditions, okay, violation of health and safety standards. Okay, so various violations. So this is the settlement of grievance process. At first there is the aggrieved employee here. He then goes to the departmental representative, the immediate representative of him or her. Okay, then he complains about the situation. Then this goes to the head of the department. Then this goes to the grievance committee. If not settled, then again to the chief executive, and finally there is voluntary arbitration when still the settlement has failed. Okay, remember that there is arbitration in the last part. Okay, and it is voluntary. That means it is not mandatory, but they can opt for it. Okay, arbitration always comes in the last. If you are given the process, then arbitration always comes last. Okay, so at first the aggrieved employee, then the immediate supervisor or representative or anything. Okay, it can mean different names. Okay, so remember that. And these are the times: 48 hours, 3 days to settle the dispute. So you just need to remember the process and the conditions for which the grievance rises. Okay, so important tools to discover grievance are open door policy. So here the doors of the top management of the company are kept open. Okay, the aggrieved employee is free to meet and express their grievances to the top executives. Okay, here the employee is free to meet and express their grievances to the top executive. That is why it said that the doors of the top management of the company are always kept open. Okay, the open door policy for settlement is suitable for small organizations. Okay, obviously a top organization will not open its door for always for its employees. Okay, step ladder policy. In this policy, whenever an employee is dissatisfied, he can present his problem to his immediate supervisor. The steps that I mentioned earlier. Okay, the immediate supervisor would look into the grievance and would give the solution in the shortest period. If not satisfied, then the superior's action, and the superior can represent to the grievance to his department head. Okay, I just said that the aggrieved employee, then comes the immediate supervisor. Okay, then the departmental head. Again, if the if the grievance redressal failed, then he can discuss with the grievance committee. Okay, again the grievance committee have failed to give the solution, then it may be referred to the top or chief executive of the organization. If he also fails in these attempts for redressing the grievances, then it is referred to voluntary arbitration, the process that I mentioned earlier. Please see the picture before. Okay, that the decisions of the arbitrator would be binding on both the parties. So at first aggrieved employee, then the immediate supervisor, okay, then the departmental head, then the grievance committee, then the top or chief executive, then the voluntary arbitration. This is the step ladder policy. Then comes the grip boxes. Okay, these are the boxes where the employees can drop their anonymous complaints. Okay, it is about anonymous complaint. This question has already come in UGC net. Okay, anonymous complaints, suggestions, opinions, etc. They are different from suggestion boxes in which employees drop their named suggestion with an intention to receive awards. So this is grip box where they provide an anonymous complaint. This technique is to facilitate employee free expression of thought. Again, opinion surveys. It is through different means like group meetings. It can be done through group meetings, periodical interviews, employees, collective bargaining, where you understand the opinions of different employees. Exit interview. Employees usually quit organization due to dissatisfaction obviously, or other prospect elsewhere. Exit interviews, if conducted carefully, can provide important information about employee grievances. Okay. Now the red hot stove rule. Okay, it is a principle designed by Douglas MacGregor in the 60s. Okay. It is regularly used by managers to in various business, and it is more than a simple disciplinary method. So it draws an analogy between touching a hot stove and undergoing discipline. So when one touches a hot stove, like if you touch a hot stove, the burn is immediate, obviously. So immediate, here is the keyword. He had a warning. You already saw the hot stove, but you still decided to touch it. So you had a warning already. He knew what would happen if you touched it. The effect is consistent. Okay, it is not that only you will touch it and only you touched it and you will get the burn, but everyone who touches it will get the burn. Okay, everyone who touches it touches the red hot stove gets burned. Okay, the effect is impersonal. Impersonal means a person is burned not because of who he is, but because he touched the stove. That is, it is impartial to anyone. Okay, it is the law is for everyone. That's what it means. That is impersonal. Okay, so the important parts are immediate, warning, consistent, and impersonal. Okay, now comes the adjudication. It means a mandatory settlement of an industrial dispute by a labor court or tribunal. Okay, generally the government refers a dispute for adjudication depending on the failure of conciliation proceedings. Okay? Section 10 of the Industrial Dispute Act 1947 provides for a reference of a dispute to labor court or tribunal, national tribunal, state tribunal. Okay. Disputes are generally referred to adjudication on the recommendation of the conciliation officer who had dealt with them earlier. But the government has discretionary powers to accept or reject the recommendation of the conciliation officer. That is, the government has a final power to listen to the conciliation officer or not. Okay, or government can use any other methods to resolve the disputes. Okay, it is not mandatory for government to listen to the conciliation officer. His recommendations are advisory only, not mandatory. Okay. It is obvious that once a dispute is referred for adjudication, the verdict of a labor court or tribunal is binding on both the parties. Okay. Continued dependence on adjudication deprives the trade union of their right to recognize and consolidate their strength. So this is a negative aspect of adjudication. That is, the union's strength is reducing when there is continuous adjudication. Okay, why? Because unions represent the employees, right? But when court interferes, then there is no power for the union. Now comes the consultative machinery. The main function of the consultative machinery is to bring the parties together for mutual settlement of differences in a spirit of cooperation and goodwill. Okay, that is, both the parties come together for mutual settlement of differences by cooperating, by understanding each other's opinion. Okay, so consultative machinery operates at a plant level, industry level, and state level, and the national level. Okay, so at plant level, there are works committee and joint management council. Okay, they are essentially bipartite in nature. What does it mean? Bipartite means only when there are two parties, employer employee, like that. Okay, I will discuss more about the works committee and the tripartite bipartite character in the next video. Here, works committee are constituted as per the provisions of the Industrial Disputes Act 1947, and joint management councils are set up following the trust laid down in the Industrial Policy Resolution 1956. Remember, Works Committee, Industrial Dispute Act 1947, and Joint Management Council are Industrial Policy Resolution 1956. Now at the industry level, there are wage boards and industrial committees. Okay, at industry level. So at plant level, there are works committee and joint management council, and industry level, there are wage boards and industrial committee. Now labor advisory boards operate at the state level, and at all India level, there are Indian Labour Commission (ILC) and standing labor committees. Okay, standing labor committees (SLC and ILC). They operating at the state and national levels are tripartite in nature. Okay, that is labor advisory boards operate at the state level, and ILC and SLC are at national level. So the bodies operating at the state and national levels are tripartite in character, that is they represent government, labor and management, that is tri per tribe 3. So this is the end of this video. So thanks for watching. Please do like, comment and subscribe to this channel for more updates. Okay, and my email ID is given in the description box. Do comment if you want some specific videos on some specific topics. Okay, thank you, stay safe, take care of your family.